What if I told you the number of Google reviews you earn this month could push you past every competitor on the map pack? Those coveted 3 spots on the first page of Google, highlighting Google business profiles that when somebody types in your main keyword, that's where you want to be. And even if they already have hundreds and hundreds of more reviews than you right now. Well, today I'm going to give you the exact math and playbook to figure out your perfect review velocity and how to keep it climbing month after month after month. Hey everyone, Adam McChesney here at Builders of Authority. I am the CEO and founder, and we help home service businesses dominate local search without complex jargon, and review velocity is one of the biggest levers you can pull. So you may be wondering, what is review velocity? The simple definition is the average number of new Google reviews your business earns per month over a chosen time frame. And why Google cares about this is because they want steady, recent feedback signals. And relevance and trust are both of those things, which then feed the overall system. Now, here is why you should care. The pace of new reviews often matters more than your lifetime total once you're in the same ballpark as competitors. So even if you have hundreds and hundreds of reviews, if you're not getting a bunch of reviews recently, Google's starting to care less and less and focus more on review velocity. Now, there's 3 main pillars with review velocity and reviews in general, which are quantity, quality, and consistency. So first, with quantity, it's the raw count of new 5-star reviews added each month. With quality, we're talking about the star rating, the depth of written feedback, the keywords customers use, and if they attach a photo or not, and then the quality of the photo, of course. And then everything tied together is with consistency. So having a predictable flow every 30 days, those are the things that burst the bubble when it comes to Google, because if you're super consistent with it, that's ultimately what Google's looking for. Now, if you have a burst in the opposite direction, meaning that you have a burst of a bunch of reviews followed by silence, that looks artificial and will ultimately stall ranking momentum. Now, one of the reasons why I love this strategy so much is because you can spy on your competitors, and it's so easy to do so. With the overarching goal being that you know the monthly number of review pace of every single listing on page 1 in the top 3 of the map pack for your primary keyword plus city. And here's a quick way to do a step-by-step audit. Open up an incognito browser. Search your service plus city. So an example would be roof repair Jacksonville. You'll then copy each competitor name, their total number of reviews, and the average rating into a spreadsheet. You can even use a free Chrome extension like GMB Everywhere to review their timeline. And then you'll want to jot down how many reviews they've gained in the last 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. And then this is where we're going to calculate velocity. So velocity equals new reviews in a period divided by months in said period. You'll want to do this for each of the competitors and average the overall top 3. So an example would be like competitor number 1, then new reviews last 6 months, then the velocity, and then the average rating. So let's just use random examples. So a company called Roofco has 60 overall reviews in the last 6 months. So 60 divided by 6 is 10. That's 10 a month at an average of 4.9. Then we have Shingle Pro, 42 reviews, which is 7 a month, and an average rating at 4.8. And then we have First Roof, who has 54 reviews, 9 a month, and a 4.7 average rating. When you combine all 3 of those numbers, the 10, the whatever the second number was, because sorry, I'm not great at math, and the 9, that equates to 8.7 reviews per month, which is the average top 3 velocity in this particular example. Now, once you have that, you are going to set your review target. And the baseline, for example, would be to just meet the average of the top 3. So if you were just trying to meet the average of the top 3, you're like, I need 8.7 reviews. I always tell people to round up. So it's like, I need 9 just to meet status quo of the top 3. Now, the top 3 in most markets, if you're not one of them, are going to be above and beyond you. So I always say is look at the gap closing factor, which is that average plus an additional 20% to that number so you can outpace them. So a sample formula in our example would be 8.7 times 1.2, which is 10.44. Rounding up, that's 11 reviews per month. Now you want to associate like a time frame or a timeline that you're committing to follow through and do this consistently. I always tell people is sustain this for at least 6 straight months, and then you can always reevaluate and recalculate and go from there. And there's plenty of systems, right, that you can use to hit the overall number. One of which is automated requests. So you can use a platform like Go High Level, which we talk about all of the time. And then every single industry specific CRM also typically has review requests, automations, and triggers inside of that system. So triggers can occur, a review request via text message, email, etc. the moment a job closes or an invoice is ultimately paid. You want to make sure that you keep it super simple and easy where they're just getting a direct Google review link. They're not having to go search something or go find your company. You want to have as little amount of friction as possible. I do recommend a 2-touch follow-up process at minimum. So if no review happens after 48 hours, for example, send a second friendly reminder with maybe a little bit of a different angle. Hey, your feedback helps other homeowners make the right choice just like you did. Would you mind leaving us a quick review? I also love, and I even love this more than the automation, is training your team. So we've done this a ton in the auto glass company. So field techs ask in person, like, hey, we have this QR code on the back of this free air freshener for your car, because of course we're repairing and replacing their windshields and we're in their car. Hey, here's something to make your car smell good with our branding. Here's a QR code that takes you right to the Google review link, and then having that as a leave behind makes a world of difference. But just asking them, would you mind sharing your overall experience, and then handing that to them does work, and we've seen it work time and time again, works wonders. If you're not doing something like that, I would highly, highly recommend doing that. And then of course, incentivizing internally, not externally. A lot of people are like, well, Adam, I want to pay, give somebody a discount on a quote. I want to pay them. I want to send them an Amazon gift card. I always tell people, don't do that. Never bribe customers with discounts. 1, it's bad practice in general against Google's policy. But 2, it's just, I just don't think it's needed. I would instead run a monthly contest for technicians. That's what we do in the auto glass company. Per review, they get paid. And then also the one that has the most reviews at the end of the month gets a higher gift card and a higher pay. So you're keeping your team happy and compensated more, and you're getting the same thing out of it. You don't want people just leaving you a review in all reality just because they're getting percentage off of their invoice, or that they're going to get an Amazon gift card after the fact. Not worth it. The next thing is you want to make sure that you keep quality high. And that kind of starts with how they leave a review, but also with your response protocol. I always tell people is you want to be responding to every single review within 48 hours, but preferably within 24, both positive and negative. And you want to have baked in there what I would call keyword seasoning, which is naturally weaving in priority keywords into your response. So with the example above, thanks for choosing us for roof repair in Jacksonville. And also making sure, if at all possible, your customer takes a photo that you've either taken or they've taken of the completed project, and having them include that with the review. Photo reviews are massive, and they boost the overall quality of everything to a massive dramatic level and visibility aspect that you can't do anything other than that in order to get the impact that it does for you. So tracking and adjusting. You want to have some sort of a dashboard. I recommend creating just a simple, non-complex, frictionless Google Sheet. You could also do a data studio report if you wanted to. You can pull in some of that information there. You could do something in Canva. I'm sure you could do something with ChatGPT. There's a lot of different things that ultimately you could do. But I would have that Google Sheet have month-to-date reviews, the velocity versus the target, the average rating trend line. So like, where is it trending and where are things at? The competitor velocity and having that refresh every single quarter. And then from there, focusing on a couple of other things that lead up to that quarterly check-in, right? So if your velocity leads the pack by 30% or more for 90 days or more, you could in theory take the foot off the gas if you want to. People ask me that all the time, whether it's stuff with the Google Business Profile or SEO in general or ads. But I always say is, hey, keep the momentum going. Now, you do this, you do more at 30%, 90 days or more, 6 months or more, and maybe it doesn't get you in the map pack. Maybe it doesn't generate more leads or calls or whatever it is that you're looking for. Doesn't mean the strategy doesn't work. It just means maybe there's more things that you need to fix as well as a part of the bigger SEO or Google Business Profile strategy. So none of this stuff, full disclaimer, is a guarantee of anything. And you could also do this way worse in theory and get results and kind of be in the middle of the pack of somewhere in between all of those different things and get results or not get results. So you got to take that into consideration as well, but always doing those quarterly check-ins to figure out where you're at and where you're pacing is massively, massively important. So you may be hearing all this and saying, hey, this sounds easy, maybe a little bit complex, but it sounds too good to be true. What am I missing, Adam, and what should I be thinking about? Well, the number one thing is don't go and do this with review gating. If you don't know what review gating is where you would send out a link to a customer and say, hey, thank you so much for doing business with us. Would you mind leaving us feedback? And they can click 1 to 5 stars. And if it's 5 stars or above, they fill out their feedback and then they got to go redo that feedback in a Google Business Profile review or a Facebook review or wherever else. And if it's 4 stars or less, it just is a form that's sent internally to your company. Now, Google has been catching on to this for a very, very long time, but starting to suspend more listings for it because you're filtering only happy customers. So it's not, in my opinion, worth it at all. Absolutely not recommend you do that. The other thing is what we would refer to as spam velocity. And not necessarily spam in the aspect of, oh, I'm going and buying reviews, which again, you should absolutely never do. But meaning that maybe one day you ask a bunch of customers, hey, would you mind leaving me a Google review? You get, let's just say you get 20 or 30 on one day, and then you get none for weeks or even months. That looks spammy and that looks shady in the eyes of Google. So don't do that. The next thing is template spam. So that's on you as the client, right? Of the client, if you were to work with us, for example, as the business or the company, I should say, is that every review response you have looks identical. You want to make sure that you personalize it. Otherwise, you're going to lose trust with potential clients, but also with Google. And then we also see a lot that people will ignore their subcategories. So if you're a general contractor and you offer, let's call it like 10 key services, if you offer those multiple services, make sure that you're asking clients to mention the specific one they purchased from you, because you want to make sure that you're spreading out the love when it comes to these different things. Otherwise, again, it is going to look a little bit spammy. It's going to look a little bit basically inauthentic. And so you want to make sure that it helps out with keyword diversity by making sure that it's not all about just general contractor or general contractor near me, etc. They're explaining every single service that you actually got or that you actually did for them, right? So I'm going to give you an action plan here so that way you can run with it. But just put it on your calendar this week to run a competitor audit. And then from there, set your monthly target, which again is just going to be the average of the top 3 times 1.2 or an increase of 20%. And implement some automation stuff, implement a process and build or tweak it, but give it about 7 days. Start to go and take it, and also train your team on the ask and the timing around it. And ultimately, I would incentivize them to go and take ownership of this project and see what they can do. And if you struggle with time management and tracking and responsibility, one, you could delegate this to somebody else in your team, but track velocity every Monday morning. This stuff is very crucial and is very important and can have a massive impact on your company. So take it seriously. I want you to go from this video to follow these steps, because I guarantee you, right, if nothing else, you will have more Google reviews than your competition over the next 6 months or less. And if you follow this, right, and it will help grow your business. Now, to what degree, I can't guarantee any of that. I've been disclaimer throughout, hey, this isn't a magic pill. This is just one of the many strategies that are out there that most people, right, aren't looking at, that Google is, and it can help drive your business forward. If you have any questions on this specifically, make sure to head over to our website, which is buildauthority.com. You can also see a link to our website in the description of this video. Fill out a contact form. Our team would love to have a conversation with you, not just about this, but anything digital marketing related, and figure out if there's something that we might be able to do to assist you in your business in this digital marketing agency realm of things. Like this video, hit the comment, leave a comment. Tell us what you thought about it. Come back and say, hey, I did it 6 months from now, and this is ultimately what it's done for me. Subscribe to our channel. That way you can get notified each and every single time we launch a new video. And I hope you found something valuable from this video, if nothing else, that you can go take to start Build Authority and to dominate your market. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.